Good day, my fellow Americans and good people of the world. Today I'd like to address you in regards to climate change. Today's a very hot day, and I can imagine other people that are working out in this severe weather that it's pretty rough on the body, and it's only going to get worse as climate change continues to intensify, and we need to start really thinking about what we're going to do to solve for the human element in these changing conditions. And so we really need to rethink how we design spaces to make them more inclusive for shade, and we need to think more about empowering our power grids to be able to bear the weight of increased usage for temperature regulation. We need to create more, passive designs in our housing. We need to make sure that there's more readily accessible water for people to drink, like in public spaces, that's cool and refreshing. And lots more trees. Many more trees, because they're natural shade and they clean the air and it's beautification. I mean, when you have a really tall, long-standing, old-growth tree in your neighborhood and community, psychologically it makes you respect that space more. So it's like we need to rethink how we design and plan our cities so that we can better accommodate for situations where climate change is going to increase our temperature. Right now we have an administration, POTUS 47 regime, that does not believe in climate change. It's scrubbing all of mention of climate change from any of the government records. It's denying climate science. It's firing climate scientists. The people who are heading the administration, like the Environmental Protection Agency, these are all people that are just yes men to Trump, and they don't want to promote climate change as being a real thing that is a problem that we have to solve for, because it's we have to deny climate change in order to promote, they think at least, we have to deny climate change in order to promote progress in the United States, which isn't true. So I just want to take a quick little brief to say that the more intelligent way to approach this would be to empower an additional branch of our military called stewardship. And this stewardship branch of the military will go and take care of building out and developing and building up resilience and establishing the preparations that are necessary to get us up to the level that's necessary for us to be able to adapt to the climate as it's changing, and to change our behaviors and our habits so that we can mitigate the human impact on our climate, and then reverse some of the negative trends of exceeding our planetary boundaries to get us back into the safe operating space. And so I think that the other biggest thing, especially in terms of the EPA, since Trump decided to gut that and then put one of his yes men at the head of it, the better approach, of course, would be to say, the whole idea that they're trying to get at is that regulation stifles innovation and stifles business. They don't really care about the innovation part of it. They care about the business aspects. It stifles business when we have regulation. People should just be able to do business, and that's what free enterprise is about, right? But the whole thing is they don't equate or account for, the invisible costs to things when they do business. So, we shouldn't be allowing our planet to go to crap and then everybody suffer from these, human-made consequences that will have negative impacts, just to be able to help corporations save a little bit of money on their bottom line. But I think that the best way to approach it would to be able to create a stewardship tax, to be able to fund the establishment of the stewardship branch of the military, and to empower individuals, small business enterprise, to go to work to do the work of stewardship, to be able to make these resiliency changes and build resiliency within our communities and throughout our states and then across the nation, and then hopefully be able to eventually outsource that to the rest of the world and help them build up that same type of resiliency. And instead of having it be, oh, this company's, doing a bad thing because they're pumping, say they only have so many, gas turbines running, but really there's more than that, and that's exceeding what, regulation says they're allowed to have or whatever. Instead of going in and punishing them and giving them a fine, they write that into their bottom line. It doesn't matter to them. It's, a slap on the wrist at best. They still keep doing business as usual, and it doesn't change the outcome of the environment getting negatively impacted by their poor business practices. So change that to be, we have a military branch that goes in and actually does the work to help bring these businesses up to code so they operate within the safe space. It doesn't impact their bottom line because this is something that we pay out as a collective because we all agree it's something we want to get done. And then the businesses just pay it forward into the system to reimburse us over time. And as long as they adhere to the plans that the stewardships do when they go in and they do the, stewardship engineering to help to make sure they're operating within the standards of stewardship, the companies, pay back over time. But if they adhere to, the plan and continuously adhere to it and follow the guidelines that are established in the safe operating space that's established for stewardship, then eventually they can actually get a return on that as a return on investment and get a lower tax rate eventually over time because they're adhering to the stewardship values. So the company could look at it kind of like as allowing for a brief investment. People come in and we help to, get them up to code because they probably can't afford to do it on their own right away, and certainly can't pivot on their own, especially these behemoth companies that are just not equipped to do that, especially, while you're still struggling in a very, difficult market challenges that we're facing right now, especially brought on by the administration doing dumb things with tariffs. We should be empowering those companies to be able to work within that safe operating space, give them enable them to approach this, level standard of stewardship. And then think of all of the great people who want to fight for climate change and to make a difference. All of those people who are activists can become agents of change and join in with this force, and they can go do the good work that actually does make a difference and the things impacting that they want to make a difference in. Instead of, protesting and demanding the corporations change it, it's like, no, the government says we're changing it. If you want to do business here, you have to align within stewardship values, but we will go in and change it for you, and we're going to work with you on this. It's not like we're coming in and telling you what to do, and how to do it. We're going to work with you and say, these are the benchmarks that we have to be able to reach. We're going to do it together. We're going to help make sure it gets taken care of. This is going to be off your back. Eventually, over time, you're going to pay us back. But, if you keep doing the right thing over time, then maybe you don't even have to pay us back. And, you get loan forgiveness or whatever eventually over time in the form of tax credits or tax breaks or some effect in terms of the stewardship tax, at least the variable part of it in what I call the portions tax of it. And then this helps to make sure that we can get all of those businesses up to the code standard of stewardship. We can empower all the people who are already activists that want to be agents of change, and we can put everybody to work to start making America work for everybody in such a way that we are mitigating the negative impacts of climate change and help to foster the pivot of industries so we can get back in alignment with those things. Instead of fighting against it, let's help to foster the transition of those businesses in such a way where it actually is good business for them to do the right thing. That's what I'm looking towards and what I'm looking forward to, being able to help everybody to realize that if we can only foster, in the movement in the right direction, we could change the outcomes that will lead us to where we actually want to be able to go. I think climate change really is something that we don't have to be afraid of. It's something that we don't have to deny. It's something that we don't have to fight against. It's something we don't necessarily have to fight for. I think that, turning into a military branch is not about fighting. It's about going and preserving. It's about being an inspiration to the world instead of a disciplinarian. It's saying, we're going to inspire you to do the right thing because look at all these great things. It works good for your business. It's going to help your business bottom line overall. It's going to help everybody to not be against your business anymore. And it's going to help you to adopt these new changes and shift so that you can endure. And if you don't want to do that and you want to refuse to do that and you're going to fight against this system that we've all agreed on, these are the standards of stewardship that we must achieve want to achieve and need to achieve together, well, then you are going to find yourself in a very difficult place, because you are going to have more and more things working out of your favor in terms of the systems that we are creating, because we're moving in a different direction. We are choosing for ourselves that stewardship is the future, and that's where we're going to bring ourselves to, because we care more about the welfaring of the criterion echelon of society, everybody, then we care about the bottom line standard almighty dollar profit generating machines that you've created and called it business, that skew, money, power, influence, and resources to the deviant echelon that don't care about outcomes for everybody else. So that needs to change, and I think it can change in such a way where we can do it where it's fostering, good relationships with one another, and it's promoting goodwill, and it's helping us to do, good work and do the right thing and just be good neighbors to one another and good fellow citizens, without it becoming this constant conflict, one side against another. And then it just solves the basic problem. We all know that climate change is real. We all know that these impacts are terrible and we need to do something about it. Let's finally do it. It's just a thing that we should just do without question, or doubt that we need to do something, but consider, of course, well, how do we go about it, and work together to be able to accomplish that, and do it in such a way where we're not putting it wholly on individual consumers to do, we're not putting it wholly on businesses to do, but we're taking it up as the spirit of the American identity, embedding the stewardship identity in our nation and saying, this is who we're going to be. We're going to be a nation of stewards, and we're going to do things right, because we know that the outcomes that we're going to get from this are going to be far greater than any, late stage capitalism could ever do. We're going to establish a proper capitalism. We like free market capitalism society, but it needs to have a proper intended use. So proper capitalism in a free, direct democratic nation of stewards, I think, is the ideal that we should really be striving for. So with that, I'm grateful for your valuable time, attention, considering this matter. I got to get back to work. Until next time, I appreciate you. Be well.